Hello, and welcome to episode 39 of Yalla Habibi.
Welcome to Yalla Habibi.
How exciting that we are here again.
Well, yes, for the 39th time. We're very exciting. We're nearly halfway to 100. And that makes me very happy. I'm happy that we do it once a week now, because otherwise it would have taken over 4 years to get to 100. And when I calculate that just felt a bit poopy.
Yeah, well, are we on track to do it before the end of the year? Let me think, what week are we on?
I don't think
probably
so.
Well, if it's March, let's say, so there's 4, 8, 12 weeks. So we're not even 12 weeks into the year. I mean, there's 40 weeks left, so no, we won't do it.
No, we won't do it.
But we'll nearly be there by the end of the year.
Well, there we go. We'll probably, once we hit close to our anniversary...
you mean the podcast anniversary?
The podcast anniversary will probably hit 100, which would be nice.
Well, that would be really cool. Maybe we should try and time it.
Yeah. What? Skip a podcast episode so we can get it right? No, it'll be there or thereabouts. I think our anniversary is in February, so yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. Wonderful. But we are here today to discuss some very exciting things that we, what's the word? Not alluded to, but alluded to, I guess, in the last episode. And we spoke a lot about music, which is a subject that's important to both of us. Very much so, because we love gigs, don't we?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
In fact, we're overdue a gig.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I've looked a few up. Well, we tried to book one. We couldn't get the tickets to it, which is the mega last tour of Ozzy Osbourne, and he's got a bunch of great artists who are supporting. But they're only doing one live event in the UK, so it's super hard to get tickets. There's another one. AC/DC are doing a tour right now, and we're considering the one in Germany because it's one of the few that have tickets left at a reasonable cost. So that's a potential.
Yes, that is a potential.
But they are more concerts. Like, concerts and gigs are different. Like, concerts, usually, obviously, bigger bands, and, you know, it's a great feeling seeing that band, but gigs are just more raw and gritty and, to be honest, more fun. Like, you'll always have your best fun in a gig.
Yeah. If you haven't had beer spilt on you, what are you even doing?
What are you even doing? What are you even doing? The last gig I went to, I don't know if I said on this podcast, but the guy next to me, I swear to you, he smelled of semen.
Oh, God, you did tell me that, actually. I remember. That's so grim.
I swear to you. It was so mind-boggling to smell that so strongly in a crowded place. And I thought, oh, you know, maybe it's that plant that we used to always pass in Asia, because there's a plant that does actually smell like semen. Just the smell of it is like semen, and people know of it because of this. I will have to figure out the name of it. But yeah, he just stunk. And I was like, I was trying to, it took me a while to figure out, you know, what was making that smell. And then he just, like, he wafted it by just moving. I was like, how? Like, what have you done? Like, unless he just loves gigs. Maybe he just loves them.
Maybe he really does.
Yeah, maybe, you know. So, luckily he moved though, so that was great. And yeah, that was a good gig. Fit for an Autopsy. And the support bands were Cirrhosis, and I can't remember the other one.
It's not a band that I know, but it sounded like you had a good time.
Oh, great time. Fit for an Autopsy are great. Cirrhosis, the first time, they were great as well. But Fit for an Autopsy is who I specifically went for, and they're great. They're an American, I think, California. Very heavy. Like, most of the singing is like, yes.
I like that. It's fun. I like I find that, like, the theatrics of, like, the heavier bands are always just so impressive. Like, what was the band? Motionless in White. That's one that I've really enjoyed seeing live because of their, you know, like, just their general appearance and their entertainment value.
You would like Skindred?
Skindred.
Yeah.
I think it's Skindred, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm so bad at remembering things. They're a Welsh a kind of like reggae metal band. Is that the right?
Sold.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ow.
I
Yeah,
totally did a Nessa.
you did a Nessa then, which
Oh.
is perfect because they are Welsh. And yeah, they're fantastic. And the lead singer's hilarious. Yeah. So they're a really great band live.
Well, let's check them out. Let's try and see them. There's a band, so there's a music festival that we went to a couple of years ago called Aftershock in California. Great festival. And I sent you the lineup, I know you've had a look at it, but did you notice that Hot Milk are on there?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, that's nice.
So that's a band that Scott showed me recently. They're really cool. Female fronted.
Oh, that is nice. There's a lot of good bands there. The one I was most surprised by was Marilyn Manson.
Yes. Well, that's what I went, oh my God. And then sent it to you instantly as soon as I saw Marilyn Manson. Because he's on your list, isn't he?
He is on my list, and not to kill list, because I know a lot of people out there might want to, but before all the crap that came out about him, I was always a lover of his music, and I still love his
What
music.
What came out about him?
Oh, do you not know?
I know about him taking a rib out.
Oh no, that was. I mean, I don't know if that was true, but that's what everyone said, didn't they, when you were in school to do, weird things to himself. But no. In recent years, the reason he's not done live music is because loads of women have come out to say he's just like beating them up.
Oh my God.
Like apparently he's just very aggressive in the bedroom. Apparently
That's awful.
And apparently it wasn't all consensual. And anyway, but quite a lot of women. But I think one of his main partners have basically come out and they've just got loads of evidence to show that he used to beat them. And
oh, that's horrendous.
yeah, I think from what I had read, it was more of like in a sexual context. It wasn't like in the relationship generally, what I read, but it was still bad enough to be like, oh fuck, this is quite awful.
Oh God, I've never heard that.
Oh, she had bruises and everything. She was like, she was black and blue. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people hate him now. So obviously, do not condone that. It's like Michael Jackson. Don't condone the things that about him, but his music's great. His music's great, and says Marilyn. I love his music. So I'm not a supporter of this cancel culture where you can't listen to someone because they've done something heinous. I just don't believe that. So I would like to see him live, and I was shocked to see him on there. And that,
Aftershocked.
I was aftershocked because I look up, I have a list of bands I want to see, right? And I have notifications, and it's never come up for him for like 5 years.
Interesting.
So I am particularly interested.
Well, and there's one of our favourite bands, Bring Me the Horizon, are also headlining on the Sunday.
Yes, Bring Me the Horizon.
We had our second date at their gig, which I'll probably say every episode. We went to see Bring Me the Horizon.
Yes, Bring Me the Horizon are great.
Yes, they are. So anyway, we've spoken quite a bit about bands that we want to see, etc. But what we really wanted to get onto today was this theory that I've come up with about music and how people are. So I think it was when we were in Oman. We were driving somewhere for sure. I feel like it was maybe here though. I can picture you on the right hand side of me. Driving. I don't know. But this idea that I came up with was how, when you just gel with certain people. Because we were talking about, why is it that, some people you just get on with, some people you straight away don't. And I think that it's about your literal vibes, the vibrations that you put out, because we're mostly water, right? And if you hold up a tuning fork to water, it will vibrate, will make ripples in the water. And equally, if you hold up a tuning fork, which it looks a bit like a two-pronged metal thing, and they, like when you tune a piano, you'll bang one and it'll go, ooh, and then if whatever note that is, that's you need to tune the instrument to that note. But if you hold up two of the same, like let's say two C notes, and you tap one of the C notes on the side to make it vibrate and hold it close to that other C, it will also start playing through vibration alone, so that you've not connected them, you've not touched them in any way. But if you play the note, it will set off the note that it resonates with. And equally, like if you've ever been in a music classroom where there's a drum kit, you have to turn the snare off, because if you play certain notes, the vibrations will make the snare drum like rattle.
Wow, I did not know that.
It's very irritating. But it's only for certain notes. I'm not entirely sure which they are. I've not actually sat and figured that out. But yeah, those notes that resonate with the snare drum will make it sound. And this got me thinking about how we respond to other people. And maybe it is that we're all like music notes. So if we take the scale of C major, for example, that's all the white notes on the keyboard. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So if you were to play a C note and an E note, those are both in the chord of C, so they sound really pleasant together. If you play a C and a G, they sound even better, because that's what's called a perfect fifth. So they sound really good together. If you play all three, that's a beautiful triad chord. So maybe you find that you've got a group of 3 friends and you get on really well with one of them, but especially well with the other. But when all 3 of you are together, you have the best time. But then your mate who's G, also in the chord of G major, there's an F sharp. So G and F sharp will sound okay together. They're not the best sounding together, but they do fit. But if you play a C and an F sharp, they're not in the same key, so they don't get on. C gets on with G, and G gets on with F sharp and C, but F sharp doesn't get on with C. So that's like, when you have mates and you're like, how can you be friends with them? How can you get on?
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. Like, I get on with them. And I just find that I felt like I felt like it struck a chord with me and I've hit the right note.
Yeah.
To be cheesy. But, when we wonder why is it that I've got this friend who's friends with someone who I would never, ever understand, why could you be friends with someone like that? But it's because they're notes that fit in a key together, but one of them also fits with me. I'm really hoping that I've explained that well enough for it to make sense.
I think you've explained it very well. And we were driving in Oman. I think we had, I must say, if you want to have a deep conversation with your partner, then have a long drive.
Yeah.
It's something about long drives that evokes deep conversation. I've just learned that in life as well. Like me and my brother, I don't see him as frequently as I'd want. And I decided to drive us down my dad's for the first time. And we just spoke the whole way. We didn't put on a podcast. We didn't listen to it. We just spoke the whole way. It was 4.5 hours, and we would never speak for that long in one go, and the same with our, when we're driving place, we get into quite deep discussion. So, just a side note, but yeah, I totally resonate with it. I think it's very well explained, and I can resonate with it. I think there's definitely an influence on your friend groups as you grow up. I feel like you do change as a person, and your personality does evolve, and your interests and values do evolve, and that will reflect in the people you hang out with. And then all of a sudden, the people that you hung out with, from school to when you're 30, they're quite different individuals. And I've never really been in many situations where I've had like totally different groups come together. It's always like, I meet with those, I do things with those individual groups, because we've both, always been social bugs. And, I just have friends everywhere. Wherever I go, I like to make friends. So, yeah, it's an odd one. I kind of want to get them all in a room now to see how it would work out. I have been in a position, though, where someone has done this. So one of my friends did do this. He brought all his friends from different, parts of his life together, and they didn't all get on.
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to him about it before. I was like, have you ever thought about, like, maybe they wouldn't get on? And he was like, no, they'll be fine. I just had this feeling in my head that, I don't know, man. I've heard, like, when you get different groups of friends, like, it doesn't always work out. I've just heard people say this. And no, we have had good, it was for a party, and, mostly haven't got on. But two people got in a big argument who didn't know each other. They got in a big argument. There might have been some, what do you call, some alcohol and some other things involved in their night. So they were quite inebriated. But yeah, it was just interesting to see that. And they broke out into a fight. We had to actually stop it altogether in this small apartment in London. So I have seen it, and just like, and not as far as that, just me and how I felt. Again, everyone was there, was nice. Even the two people are arguing. You actually know one of them. I won't say them on the call, but they are all individually nice people, and I got on with everyone. I didn't not get on with any, not get on with anyone. Does that make sense?
I didn't not get on with anyone. Yeah, that you got on with everyone.
Yeah. But I did find it much harder to socialise with some of them. Like, I think I really believe in we share energy, and some of us just aren't on the same frequency. And like, for example, one of the guys there, he was very comedic, and he was a really funny guy and really nice. I'd met him like 3 or 4 times before that, a specific party. But it always ends up in awkward silence after like 5 minutes.
Oh no.
And he doesn't do anything wrong. He is good socially. Like, he'll just start throwing jokes and stuff. But like, I don't know what it is. I felt socially uncomfortable with him. And I feel bad to say that, because again, I want to stress, he didn't do anything wrong. He was lovely. He was kind, everything. But I just didn't feel socially connected with him. Whereas if I went to my other friend, I could just start chatting and not think about it. And I've met this guy, but so I do really believe there's something to that. Like, sometimes you don't have to jive. You not jiving with someone doesn't have to mean it's because you don't like each other.
Yeah.
There's something else going on.
Yeah.
And I think you're onto something.
I really think so, and thank you for sharing that story, because it's good I guess there's not many occasions in which the different areas of your life would overlap. Like, I mean, I know you've not said, but I'm guessing it's like workmates, uni mates, schoolmates, all coming together, this kind of vibe. And I feel like, is that maybe because are we slightly different people in those slightly different scenarios as well? Maybe that's, to you, I'm a C, but to them, I'm an F. Like,
Baby, you're A+++.
No, I don't mean it like that.
A star, isn't it? It's A star.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean as in like music note. C, F, G, A, B.
You're Mensa to me, my darling.
BA. Stop it. But yeah,
Albert
maybe
Einstein.
Stop it, that's not true.
Okay. It is true.
It's not.
Just to make everyone very clear.
I won't accept that.
Well, you must accept it, and all the audience have already accepted it. You are fine. Damn fine. You are a sweet piece of
Salt and caboose.
Silt and caboose. That's the new name for Shelby's caboose. Well, we should talk about that in a minute, because we have names for our body parts.
We do. Okay, let's not.
We'll
let's
pin
put a in
that. We'll pin that.
And we'll come back to it. But something else, as you were speaking, that made me think about it is because, maybe that guy, like you said, it is funny at first, and then after a while it just becomes awkward or whatever. Maybe he just needs tuning.
All right. This is where you might lose me with your theory.
No, so like a guitar goes out of tune sometimes, and you need to tune the strings, and well, most instruments do need.
They
tuning.
do. They all need. Yeah.
Nearly. Well, not all, but like.
Okay.
Yeah, and like a piano needs tuning, etc. Like, eventually they might start to go a little bit flat. So in music, there's like, the note is either the note or it's a little bit, it could be flat or it could be sharp. So, you know, if someone's feeling a bit flat and then they're feeling a bit down, they're not feeling themselves, they haven't got the energy that they normally have. You know, and we literally say, I'm just feeling a bit flat. Like, that would be a normal thing to say. So, but also, if you're feeling a bit sharp, if something's too sharp, it's like a bit, like, you know, like, it's like this friction, it's not right. And maybe that's like when you're anxious or angry.
Right.
You know, when you're elevated, literally, because to make a note sharp, you have to go up a bit. So I feel like there's something in that as well, because, you know, why do you fall out with your mates sometimes, or like fall out with anyone, particularly when you're younger? Like, if you're a C and they're a G, but they're acting a little bit more like a G sharp that day, so elevated, then suddenly you're not going to get on as well. Or if you're feeling a little bit flat, then you're not in the same key anymore. So I think there's a lot to be said about it, and like how we are, like whether we are our true selves, like our true, like tonal, like on the dot, perfectly tuned selves. And that, you know, I think that comes into a lot of whether or not we're taking care of ourselves, whether we're feeling healthy, whether we're getting enough sleep, whether we're, you know, recharging our batteries.
So would you compare this to, like you said, being elevated to being feeling down? You're not comparing it to, because some people you just don't jive with, no matter how. Yeah,
because they're in a different key always. Like,
okay, so that I just want to make that clear.
Let's say everyone's got a note, whatever that is. We're definitely a C and a G.
Yes.
100%. Because we just sound perfect together.
We do.
And then, you know, when you meet someone who is like, when you're like, oh my God, with the same person, they're just a different octave of the same note. Do you know, like, that's what's going on there, and they sound great together.
Yeah.
But, so we're a C and a G, but there's going to be some times when I'm feeling a little bit low.
Yeah.
So then I'm suddenly a C flat, which is actually a B. But that actually does go really, and you're so good at lifting me up. Oh my God, I'm going to have a meltdown over this. Because G and B go together really well. That's the third note in the G scale. So when I'm feeling a bit flat and a bit down, you're really good at lifting me back up.
There we go.
Oh my God.
I think you're really onto something here.
I think so.
It makes a lot of sense.
And probably why, like, you know, if like, I don't know, like if you're, you know, like when you're in work mode.
Yeah.
I would say that you're probably like a bit of a G sharp because you're elevated and you're focused.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't.
And I don't really know what to do with that. And G sharp doesn't really go with C, and I don't really know how to.
Right.
This is so interesting.
Wow.
This is so interesting.
Wow.
Oh my days. Right. We are becoming couples counsellors right now.
Well, I won't go that far, but maybe we could
figured it out.
Maybe we could write a book on it, but
I think we could write patent pending, trademarked as of right now. Everything said in this podcast.
Yes,
disclaimer. We own. This is our intellectual property.
We own it. Yeah, we own it. Yellow BB.
Yellow BB. Yes. So we put a pin in something that I feel like, unless you have any thoughts and comments on that, I feel like ranted.
No, you definitely no. This is what the episode was about, and it's good that we've stuck to it for once. so it's no. I think it's a really, really interesting concept, and I think we can share a lot of real examples where it connects to, and I think, I just think it comes down to that energy. I think, I think every time you meet someone, you can have an influence on whether they go from that flat to normal, or from that sharp to normal, or up to the sharp, or down to the flat. You can have an influence on that just in the 2 minutes you're with them, just based on your body language, how you communicate to them. And I think that's the most important thing, to take from this, even if you're, well, it's not the most important thing to take from this. The most important thing to take from this is this theory is legit and it's amazing. Yeah,
and understanding other people.
And I think people should explore this, especially if there's a scientist listening. But I think definitely another important point is, realizing how much we can affect people. And you're much better at that. You're very aware of people and a bit more mindful of how you're affecting everyone around you. Whereas, not that I'm not, but if I don't know you, I'm going to have a little less patience. I'm going to have a little less... but I'm always respectful. You know, I'm not one to make a scene. I try to avoid a scene. But I digress. But yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is we can have an impact in tuning that person.
Absolutely. And I'd be curious, would you be able to just search very quickly, my darling, if there is any note, and I suspect the answer is no, is there any note that appears in every single scale, music scale? Well, with checking with ChatGPT, we've gotten nowhere, and I've tried to quickly verify this in my own head. I don't believe that there is any note that appears in all of the major keys. So, for example, you might think C appears in most of the major keys, but in A major it's actually C sharp. So I'm sure we've got many musician listeners, and I'm sure they will be eager to correct if I'm wrong. And I'm a music teacher, so I should just know this. But off the top of my head, I can't think that there's any particular note that appears in all of the keys. So it goes to show you can't please everyone.
There we go. I think you should do that as a short as well, because there will be some keyboard warriors ready to correct them.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Nice.
Keyboard warriors.
Double entendre.
Double entendre. Well, don't go me.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll have to sit on my keyboard/piano and play every single scale until I check.
Yeah, well, why not? We have one. We have one through there. So
break my dyslexic brain. I'm gonna have to have a system where I check it off or
Well, we need to do it. We need to figure it out. But I'm really happy we did that conversation. I thought it was...
Me too.
One that was well worth a discussion, and one we'll probably carry on in throughout discussions throughout the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a wonderful episode. Well, we still don't have an outro.
No, we don't.
But it's coming.
Winter is coming. Maybe that's the outro. Winter is coming.
Winter is coming. Yellow Habibi.
Yellow Habibi.
We will say...
Goodbye.
Goodbye.